Hi, Alita. Okay. So, hi, I'm Kate Brew, and I work at Alien Vault right now. I'm the editor of the blog. I started my career in graduating from Georgia Tech. I used punch cards to write code at Georgia Tech. Yep. And not many people can say that. Not many people want to be able to say that, but be it as it may. My first job in security was working in a company that had an IDS for Unix, and it had 41 signatures, and it was wow at that time. So things have come a long way since then. I really got deep into security and when I started with Tivoli right before being acquired by IBM and in product management. And I worked at other places. Currently at Alien Vault, which is an AT&T company. And I'm also a volunteer. I like OWASP. I do a lot of volunteer work with our local Austin chapter and LASCON, which is our application security conference. It's coming up October 25th and 26th. LASCON, yeah, there's another Austinite. I'm married, but my boss says I have a boyfriend named Twitter, and that may well be true. I spend a lot of time with Twitter. Okay, so are you seeing?
It's one ahead. So you can hear from it and start on the next one.
Are you seeing the next slide? Good.
We are seeing the Kate Brew slide.
Oh, you don't want to see that. You want to see the next one.
Now it says black line.
Okay, so a lot of people are like, how do I get started in information security? I hear that quite a bit. Blogging is one of the great ways to make yourself known and to contribute to the community at the same time. And in a lot of cases at Twitter, anybody seen at Twitter late night indecent exposure where people start picking fights with other people and, getting really nasty? With a blog, you're going to consider it very carefully. And you're going to have a well thought out piece that you'd like to represent you, that you'd like to put on your resume. And actually, speaking of resumes, I'm very proud that we use a lot of guest bloggers at Alien Vault. And we work with some pretty young ones. And I got to be a reference for a guy when he went on a job interview, and he got down to the point where he needed references, and he got the job. So, because for the employer, it's proof that this person can do good work. They can read the blog, but they also have worked with a corporation. And you can always send a link to your mom. Make your mom proud. Okay, so actually, Javad Malik helped me with a dry run, and he suggested Kate's 7 tips to good blogs, but I made it MAMAKATE'S because I use that nickname, and it's used on me on Twitter quite a bit. The big things are helpful information, things that you would like to read, not a bunch of drivel, not a bunch of fluff. Real research or how-tos or helpful tips, something you really care about. Something that you're at least curious about. You don't have to start out as an expert, but you're going to end up as an expert by the time you write the blog. The guideline is 500 to 1,000 words, but I've put out blogs with 3,000 words that did great. So longer blogs, depending on the subject matter, can be entirely appropriate. Include pictures and videos. A couple of reasons for that. People prefer pictures and videos to a big, especially a chunk of text altogether without headings. But also Google spiders, which are the way that you get found on, when people search for you, is the crawling of the spiders. And they love pictures and videos. They count them much more critically than text. And I have more on optimizing your blog so that you are found. Especially if you have great content. It's always a shame to me when I see a great blog it's just made a few little errors that would be easily corrected. So I'm going to talk about how you could do that. Get peers to review your blog. Don't let people rewrite your blog. Don't let people Frankenstein your blog. People who are real good at English or something, don't have them do a peer review. Have somebody who understands the subject matter and can verify, yeah, this makes sense. This hangs together. You've explained this well. And then you can have one review with somebody who knows all their grammar and so forth. Do a little rewriting, but don't Frankenstein. Don't allow 8 people to review your blog and take it apart. What you want to write about is a topic that people are actually looking for on Google. The reason I keep talking about Google is you're like, Kate, why don't you just write a blog and put it on social and get a bunch of people to look at it? Because next year, next month even, that blog's gone. Unless it gets traction on Google. Unless it gets organic traction. So I call it, my job where I run the blog, it's the gift that keeps giving. I can go on vacation because of organic search. I don't have to be there. We're doing all the hard work of figuring out what LinkedIn groups does this blog work with. No. You've got, people are Googling. They want to know this stuff. You're not forcing it on them. Speaking of Google spiders, how do you get the attention of the Google spider? It's an algorithm it's very hard to understand, but very simple in a way. Google spiders are looking for the best content for people doing searches. They're not sinister, except for the ad piece. Obviously Google has to make some money, so those ads, aren't done based on the spiders. They're done based on paying money. But that's fine. But as far as competing against other good content, you need to be unique. You can't cut and paste from somebody else's blog. You're going to get definitely penalized, and I think you should be for doing that without attribution. It's got to be unique. A unique finding. If you have malware research, you're going to get links to that blog all over the place. That blog's going to do great. Something some people want to share. That's the kind of content you need to be writing. It's helpful and relevant. Okay? And I hear all the time, bloggers will say, what should I write about? And first of all, that's a warning flag to me. If you don't have passion as a blogger, wanting to write about INFOSEC, don't write a blog because it's probably going to be boring. So anyway, I did try to help these people out, for guidance. And basically, because I love Twitter, I did a poll, and the clear winner was practical INFOSEC how-to. And you don't have to be, a data scientist to write those kind of blogs. You just have to do the hard work, do some research, find things out that you're going to share with the community. Sorry. Tricky concepts explained. They're also interesting. Don't take that number on thought leadership as precise, because I had a lot of people direct message or respond to this saying, I like thought leadership, but between those choices, I like all the INFOSEC blogs, and I read thought leadership all the time, and people do. But it's just like, what are you looking for? What would be really enticing? And what jumps out is practical how-to. All right. So the next question is, I got my blog up. How am I going to get people to it? How am I going to get people who I know will share my passion for this topic? How do they find me? Well, obviously Google, or search engine, I should genericize. But one key thing that maybe people don't know that I figured out over the years is authority of the site really matters. Reputation of the site matters. If you publish to a site that deals with spammy or otherwise not good sites, or allows them to copy content, it's a bad idea. And your own personal blog, I have a personal blog, but if I have something I really want to get eyes on, in the INFOSEC community, I publish it on the Alien Vault blog because the reputation of the site and the authority of the site, and the fact that they do a lot of the socializing as well. So the right thing to do, in my opinion, is to publish on a site with good authority first, and then repost on your personal blog. Socialize it. I can't tolerate Reddit. Maybe you can. But if you can, it's great, because that RNetSec subgroup, or whatever it's called, has great information. I just can't tolerate the other stuff that happens there. But socialize on Twitter and LinkedIn for sure. And don't be afraid to ask people to help me out, socialize this. Retweet this, please. Almost everybody will do it if it's something that's, you're not obviously trying to make money from or something like that. People are quite willing to help you out. Title it like it is, even in social. Clickbait gets people angry. Say what you mean to say. Don't, try a bunch of games. You can be funny in social, for sure. It's okay to be funny in social, but don't lure people to content that has really got nothing to do with what you've written up. And I have a story, so this was on accident, but we had a blog about celebrity nude photos, that, it really was a hack. It was a valid INFOSEC story. But unfortunately, because it said the word nude in the title, we got picked up by a bunch of unsavory sites actually linking to our very technical blog. So I guess they eventually figured out there was nothing juicy there. But, you need to be careful with the title and or even what you put on social, to be very clear to people. Don't fool people. Tag people who've helped you with your research. If you have, attributed some of your content to another source, don't be afraid to tag them. At least they know they're getting credit. Everybody likes their work linked to, so it's a win-win. And invest in the time. And I will tell you, I have to warn you, organic traffic writing blogs for organic traffic, for traction, for SEO, is very counterintuitive. All that good writing skill that you probably have, it has to be adapted quite a bit. And a lot of authors have a hard time with it. How many people in the audience have read an information security blog in the past 6 months? Yeah. It's where you get the fastest is Twitter, because you can get a tweet out there in 2 minutes. But a blog, you can get a blog live in a couple hours. So if you're looking for the latest on something, it's going to be the best way to get it. And in INFOSEC, things move extremely fast. So investing in the extra work is key. So I'd love to know how Google search works. The thing is, nobody knows. Nobody really does know. Well, probably about a couple hundred engineers in Google know. But the rest of the world is just guessing. And some of those guesses can do more harm than good. The other thing is, the algorithm probably changes 100 times a year. They tweak it. They're trying to really do the right thing for the end user who is Googling things. They're trying to do the best job they can to get the user to what they want. So if people are trying to game them, they're on that. And they're working to stop that. Okay, how to optimize blogs. I've been talking about this, and now I get to get the real thing. When you're doing your title, or when you're doing your keywords to start with, think about what would you type in Google to find this content. Start there. A lot of times, people will give me a blog, really nice blog, and the title is funny. It's really funny, and I have a good sense of humor, but I'm like, no. Tell me what you would Google to find this blog, and then we name the blog that. I think the weird thing that took me a while to understand is Google spiders have no sense of humor. They don't know jokes. If you tell a long, convoluted story at the beginning, and it's a wonderful story about your cat, and all the humans love it, but when the Google spider sees that story at the beginning, it goes, clickbait. This person is writing a blog about cats. You got to be really careful about putting your message very quickly out so that Google can find that. Make the title short. You're actually penalized for long titles. Sometimes really technical blogs need to be long titles. You got to do that. Use the keywords throughout the blog. Break it up into headings, into sections. A lot of technical bloggers turn them over to me and I have to edit them. The biggest edit is, I don't want to read a chunk this big of text. I'm a human. No. What you need to do is break it up into little bite size and put the headings in there so that regular people, which is a subset of your audience, regular people are going to want to read it. Use alt text in your images. If that doesn't make sense to you, come see me afterwards and I'll explain what I mean by that. It's a way to tell Google what's in the picture. And in my editor, I just enter it as alt text. So don't even try to game search engines. My strongest suggestion is just write good content. Just provide the kind of content you would want to read, and you'll get the organic traction, kind of without trying. Metrics. So the metrics that I have in my job as a corporate blog editor is number of visits, where they come from, number of blog subscribers, number of views to each individual blog post, and I usually give this feedback to our guest bloggers, you know, to tell them, oh, this blog of yours is doing better than this blog, and here's why. It could be, if they have the misfortune of the blog happening at a particular time where they don't get a lot of traction, there's a whole lot of other things going on, you know, I'll tell them, hey, we might need to work on the timing of when we release the blog. I've heard that some bloggers really love the qualitative feedback. So that's something you don't want to just do sheer numbers. You also want the qualitative. You want to consider that. The average time on blog is indicative of how interesting it was in a lot of ways, and the bounce rate. Whether the people go there and go, this isn't what I want, and bump right back out, that's a ding on your site. Unless you were Brian Krebs, I don't see him out there. My advice from years of this is don't let people comment. What you can do is get your feedback on social. So you can post links to the blog and say, hey, I'm looking for comments. What did you think of this blog? Get them that way. Because when you allow comments, you're actually increasing your attack surface. You're allowing people to inject executable code, things that you don't want. Don't have time to do this, but if you need help with establishing your keywords, this is one place to go. But what I suggest more is find somebody who is an SEO expert, like most companies have them, and just, you know, spend an hour with a person and say, hey, help me out with this blog. Here's what I'm thinking. And they go off and do their research and so forth, and they'll come back with helpful ideas for you. Bad things to do. If you're in a corporation, don't get input from the SEO expert. Ignore the guy. Yeah, that's really bad. These are all things not to do. We talked about cleverness, excessive cleverness. Have no screenshots. Have blocks of text with no videos, images, or screenshots. People will not love that. Even Google spiders will not love that. Plagiarize, steal, never do that. Very unforgivable. And not give attributions to your references. That's awful. And be rude. Blogs done right. Okay, if you Google how to prepare to take the OSCP, Alien Vault blog will be number one. And that blog was written by a 19-year-old from Philippines who had just passed the OSCP, and he was telling people how to do it. That's a good blog. You don't have to be like a rocket scientist. You don't have to be somebody with a PhD. You can write a really good blog based on your experiences. Google logs for SIM implementation. Alien Vault's number one under the ads. Google IDS, IPS, UTM, number one. Building a home lab to hunt malware, number one. And I do like to have fun too, so if you Google best INFOSEC jokes, number one. Pinterest might have beaten me out temporarily. I have to go check on that. Okay. Key takeaways. Write about what you really care about. If you've been assigned to go write a blog, just say no, you're wasting your time. You know, you gotta want to share this information. It's gotta be meaningful to you. Optimize, post sites with good authority. By the way, Alien Vault, I'm always looking for new guest bloggers, so come see me if you're interested, or direct message me on Twitter. And this is I give attribution down there, but it's what people think about bloggers and what we really are. Most bloggers are just, somebody who's wants to share in INFOSEC. Let me preface it that way. In INFOSEC, they just want to share what they've learned with the community. That's my last slide. Any questions? I don't know. I think you were first, David, and then Alita. Okay. Yes, my son.
What do you recommend for, let's say, that you're coming to have
Easy? The easiest is Blogspot. Sorry? Oh, okay. Well, what do you do if you don't have a corporate blog? So Blogspot, SPLOT, is so easy. It's phenomenally easy. And it ranks pretty well on Google. I don't know why. But that's the easiest answer. But probably the other thing to consider is going to a corporation. By the way, Alien Vault is not the only corporation who accepts guest blogs. And I don't want to tout my competitors, but if you come see me and you want to hear other alternatives, I'll help you out there too. Yeah, Alita. Yep. Yeah. 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 Medium's great. So the question was, there's all kinds of problems with other options and Blogspot. Medium is great on LinkedIn, and it will show up in searches. And it's a great option. Of course, it's kind of a competitor to me, so, but it is a great option. Yeah. Yes, in the back.
So a lot of places for like Medium and other free spots to do blogs, I always have a problem with my pictures not being good quality or videos having problems with the resolution that it can support. So I didn't know if this was my own. Is it just something I was doing wrong, or?
With those sites, whenever you get something for free, you're getting something for free. So, right, they're sort of just doing that as a favor to you kind of a thing. So, yes, there are problems. I've experienced them myself. But, if you go with, say even a peer list, which is a competitor to me, but if you go with them, they'll help you with that. They have professionals. So does Alien Vault, of course, that will get things right for the author. Okay, no more, I got the stop sign. Thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate it. Oh, one more question.